Canadian men's national team has made big strides in recent years, from being an afterthought in CONCACAF to now emerging as a potential contender in North America. It's quite remarkable how far the men's football program has gone in this country. After Canada's first appearance at a World Cup in 36 years, and being a Canadian myself, I can't help but look to the future and see where this national team can go. So that begs the question, what's next for Canadian men's football? What's up everybody, my name's Vincent and welcome to my channel Visionary Football, where we talk about everything related to the beautiful sport of football. Today we'll be taking a look at the Canadian men's national team and what's next for them in the years to come. Let's start off by taking a look at Canada's performance at this recent World Cup. They finished bottom of Group F, losing all three of their group stage matches against Belgium, Croatia, and Morocco. Personally, I was expecting them to do a bit better, but even though these results left a sour taste in the mouths of the players and Canadians all across the country, we can only look at this World Cup as a potential stepping stone. They showed a lot of fight and determination against Belgium and really took the game to them. They did give up chances for Belgium to hit them on the counter, and it only took one goal from Michy Batshuayi to beat them. But for the majority of the match, Canada were dominant. Against Croatia, Canada took an early lead through none other than Alphonso Davies. It was fitting that it was him who scored Canada's first ever goal at a men's World Cup, being that he's arguably the most well-known Canadian men's footballer, and this came after having his penalty saved by Thibaut Courtois against Belgium. But after that second-minute goal, it kind of went downhill from there. Once Croatia gained control of the game through their midfield and other talented players, they would end up winning 4-1 against Canada, eliminating them from the World Cup. Naivety probably played a role in this big defeat because Canada were exposed defensively. It didn't help that head coach John Herdman dominated the headlines in the lead up to this match, with his comments after losing against Belgium saying that they would have to F Croatia. Canada played Morocco in their final group stage match and were set back early with a mistake from goalkeeper Milan Borjan, and by the 23rd minute, Canada were down 2-0. They did get a goal back before the half, forcing an own goal out of Nayef Aguirre. In the second half, the Canadians had many opportunities, notably Atiba Hutchinson's header that landed just on the goal line, but it wasn't enough and Canada lost 2-1. These losses were tough to take, but I do believe that it was important that these players had this experience, and sometimes a loss can show you more about what you need to know than a win can. The big thing for the Canadians is that they came into this tournament with a relatively young core of players, and this World Cup experience will only help them grow. Alphonso Davies is 22, Jonathan David is also 22, Tajon Buchanan is 23, Stephen Eustáquio is 26, Alistair Johnston is 24, and Ismail Kone is 20. All of these players figure to be the core of the Canadian men's national team for the foreseeable future, and it's important that they learned what it was like to go up against tough teams on the international stage. For a growing football nation like Canada, experience, whether good or bad, can only help, and it will grow the maturity of these players to understand different situations that are forced upon them. International football is much different from club football, and if these guys can grow together and build chemistry on and off the pitch, that will do wonders for them and their hopes at international glory on the biggest stage. Another good thing that this World Cup brought was that it helped shine a light on our talented players. In the past, the majority of Canadian players came from the MLS or other small leagues, but nowadays we're seeing more Canadian talent play for clubs all across Europe. Of course, the biggest star is Alphonso Davies, who's a major part of one of the best teams in Europe, Bayern Munich, but in recent times there have also been other Canadians making a name for themselves in Europe, such as Jonathan David, who plays for Lille, Tajon Buchanan for Club Brugge, and Stephen Eustáquio for Porto. If these three players keep improving over the years, then I could see one of the top teams in Europe swooping in for them in the near future. And also, as a result of Canada being at the World Cup, some of our other players are getting noticed and picked up by other European teams. Alistair Johnston secured a move to Scottish side Celtic, and recently Ismail Kone is moving to English Championship team Watford with the potential to move to Italian team Udinese in the near future as well. This is why making it to the World Cup was a good thing, regardless of the end result, because many of our players were able to showcase their talents on the international level, and in turn, help secure potential big moves for them in their careers. As more and more Canadian players start making their way to clubs in Europe, it will only benefit our men's national team, and will help grow these players into the best versions of themselves, playing against some of the world's best players. In the years to come, there are many opportunities for Canada to test themselves on the international stage. In 2023, there's the remaining CONCACAF Nations League matches with games against Curaçao and Honduras on March 25th and 28th respectively. If Canada wins these two matches, they will qualify for the Nations League finals, with a chance to add some silverware to their trophy cabinet, and they will also qualify for the 2023 CONCACAF Gold Cup. The Gold Cup is also another chance for Canada to go up against some of the other teams in CONCACAF. At the last Gold Cup in 2021, not all of Canada's top players showed up, so if they end up playing next year, Canada could have a realistic chance of winning the Gold Cup for the first time since the year 2000 when they beat Colombia 2-0 in the final. The 2024 Copa America is also another opportunity for Canada to potentially go up against some of the better teams in international football. Canada could possibly be invited to participate in this Copa America, and they should try their best to get to this tournament because they could go up against not only some CONCACAF competition, but also some of the best South American teams, such as Brazil, Argentina, Uruguay, Ecuador, and Colombia, to name a few. These competitions and Canada's involvement in them will be crucial for the next few years in the lead up to Canada being one of the host nations for the 2026 World Cup. And they will also be very valuable experiences for this relatively young Canadian squad. Even though the 2022 World Cup was heartbreaking for the Canadian men's national team, they can only keep their heads up as this was the beginning of football changing in this country. There's plenty of time between now and the 2026 World Cup, so we can only imagine that these players will get even better, and potentially other young players will come through the ranks and make their names known by playing for some of the best teams in the world. As a hopeful Canadian, I believe that Canada could be in for a strong showing on the international stage in the years to come, and I'm very excited to see where this men's national team will go in the future. But anyways, those are my thoughts on Canada and their outlook and future in football. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe because I'll be making more videos in the future, so stay tuned for that. If you didn't enjoy this video, leave a dislike and comment your thoughts because I'd love to get a discussion going. With that being said, thank you all so much and have a nice day.